Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Today, we're digging into a seriously unique piece of source material. We are unpacking a transcript from the channel Simple Data Compare, specifically one titled Car Brands from Different Countries. We're going to be looking strictly at the raw text provided by the source, mapping out exactly what is and honestly what totally isn't being communicated here.
Right out of the gate, the source sets a massively high bar. Listen to how they describe this content. A captivating journey through the fascinating world of car brands. I mean, when we hear phrases like captivating and fascinating journey, we're naturally expecting this sweeping, detailed narrative, right? Something spanning continents and decades of automotive history. The source is promising us this incredibly expansive look at international cars, and it builds up some serious hype.
Section 1, The Global Car Journey, Setting High Expectations.
So the framing here is everything. It positions itself not just as a quick list, but explicitly states that we're covering automobiles and global culture. We are essentially being primed for a rich, cultural deep dive. Keep that grand, sweeping promise in the back of your mind, because it sets up a really fascinating contrast with the actual raw data we are about to look at.
Section 2, Analyzing the Audio Data, a Quantitative Deep Dive.
Okay, this is where things take a wildly unexpected turn. If we treat this transcript as a pure dataset, it brilliantly illustrates what the vast majority of our source material actually is. Instead of long paragraphs detailing the history of combustion engines or global supply chains, the transcript delivers a sequence of pure raw phonetic artifacts. We get he, o, a, n, and m. Chronologically, this sequence literally makes up almost the entire transcript, right up until the concluding remarks. It's an incredibly striking, minimalist approach to delivering a captivating journey, wouldn't you say?
Let's actually look at the numbers and see how this all stacks up. The visual here reveals the exact frequency distribution of these sounds throughout the source text. When you map it out, the pattern is just undeniable. The utterance O heavily dominates the dataset, showing up 14 times. That's followed by he with 5 appearances, A with 3, and then N and M appearing just a single time each. This repetitive, almost rhythmic data contrasts so wildly with the promised cultural deep dive. It's offering us a radically simplified version of data comparison. I really want to focus your attention specifically on that number 14 for a second. Out of all the utterances recorded in the main body of this transcript, the sound O is the undisputed primary data point. It represents the overwhelming dominance of this one single reaction throughout the presentation. Now, why does this matter? Well, it completely challenges our expectations of what an informational breakdown is supposed to look like. This simple data being compared here is quite literally just a handful of phonetic expressions repeated in varying sequences. Moving on to Section 3, Germany versus Japan, the qualitative conclusion. So after that extensive quantitative sequence of sounds, the source text suddenly slams into gear right at the very end. What's the core takeaway regarding the actual cars? Well, let's neutrally contrast the only 2 concrete data points provided. On the left, we've got Germany, simply linked to sleek designs. On the right, Japan, attributed to cutting-edge technology. And guys, that is the absolute entirety of the comparative analysis provided here. It is incredibly concise. The source manages to distill the entire global automotive industry down into just 2 contrasting pillars: German aesthetics and Japanese technological advancement. Section 4. Driving safe and curious. The final sign-off. The source wraps up with a plea we've all heard a million times. They tell the viewer, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more exciting content. What's really worth taking away from this is the profound confidence of the channel. They are asking for engagement based on the promise of delivering more content exactly like the ultra-minimalist data sequence we just reviewed. It firmly establishes their belief that this specific, stripped-down format is exactly what their audience wants. And finally, they hit us with their sign-off, transcribed exactly from the source. Until next time, drive safe and stay curious. It's actually a really warm, somewhat profound send-off that wraps up a truly unconventional piece of source material. It leaves us with a positive, forward-looking message right after a highly abstract presentation. Which brings us to our final thought for this explainer. Looking at the stark contrast between those ambitious claims of exploring global culture and the raw reality of 14 O's and 5 he's, we really have to ask ourselves, what does it actually mean to stay curious in the age of simple, automated data? Does curiosity mean constantly looking for deep historical context? Or does it mean finding meaning in the absolute most minimal, stripped-down data sets imaginable? It's a fascinating question to reflect on. Thank you so much for joining me to break down this totally unique transcript. Keep asking questions and keep exploring the data.